A verse commonly cited by those who oppose salvation through faith alone is John chapter 6, verse 29, wherein they argue that faith itself is a work. Jesus said this is the work of God, don't miss that ye believe on him whom he hath sent. Now, on surface level, it seems pretty clear cut if we completely disregard the context. But that's not what we do here. Look at verse 28 of the very same chapter. Then said they unto him, what shall we do that we might work the works of God? Notice first and foremost how man assumes a plurality of works are necessary. What shall we do that we might work the works, plural, of God? The question presupposes that multiple works are necessary to merit God's favor. In verse 29, Christ echoes their vocabulary using the word work ironically to expose their prideful preconception, meaning, don't miss this, Christ mirrors their terminology to undermine their theology. I'll say that again. Christ mirrors their terminology to undermine their theology. In other words, the only work you must do is not a work at all. It's the non-meritorious reception of God's free gift. Romans chapter 4, verse 5 says, but to him that worketh not, notice this contrast, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. If faith is a work, then this verse should read, but to him that worketh not, but worketh, his work is counted for righteousness. That would be absurd. The contrast drawn by Paul clearly distinguishes between working and believing. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, you are familiar with this passage. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, notice this, not of works, lest any man should boast. Charlie Bing comments, Jesus answers simply, this is the work of God. Jesus does not concede to their request for a list of works, but in a play on their request for works, plural, he uses only the singular word work as something that must be done. In other words, he answers, quote, if you want to know what you have to do to become acceptable to God, simply believe in the one whom he sent, referring to Christ himself. Jesus gives nothing else to do but believe. That is all that God commands and all that God requires. In a world full of religions that all have a different list of things to do in order to know God, get to heaven, or find salvation, how refreshing it is that Jesus teaches we must only and simply believe that he was sent by God to be our Savior from sin. If biblical Christianity loses this clear teaching, we become like all the other religions of the world that teach we must work to earn our eternal salvation. In reality, Jesus' statement in John chapter 6, verse 29 does not contradict sola fide, it confirms it. Christ not only denies the assumption that a plurality of works is necessary to merit God's favor, but he also explicitly declares that the singular work God requires is to believe. That, my friends, is faith alone. If you are not 100% certain that you're going to heaven when you die, I encourage you to watch the video in the description below, The Bible Way to Heaven, and be saved today. God bless.